Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're old here, welcome back. Well, you're not really old, you're OG.
What they call it? Day one? A1 day one. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or if you're just passing by, go ahead and click that subscribe button. We are coming back onto YouTube to do Married First Sight. So we hope to get our subscriber count up, maybe up to 2,000 really soon.
Yes.
That is our next goal and milestone. But you know what? Let's just bypass all that talk because we're kind of late to review Married at First Sight. But that's okay.
Well, we're kind of late because if you've been riding with us, you know my health situation, so I have to do different little procedures, stuff like that. So that may set us back a day or two. But the goal is to make a video about this every week now, whether it come out on Thursday or Friday or Saturday, it will be out.
Yes, and also let's just address this too. We might be in different locations. Not might be. We will be in different locations.
Right, because we're in the process of buying a new home, so that's the reason why.
But anywho, like I said, let's just jump right into this. Married at First Sight, Season 14, Episode 2. We are still on the weddings, of course. It's a Boston. And I guess it's just a process we have to go through with Married at First Sight. I don't know why we all keep complaining, but we're just keep complaining until wheels fall off.
Of course, again, it's not week 3 yet. So I need my glasses once again. So let me put them on. So we're going to start off with Jasmina and Michael. And actually, this episode, we saw 2.5 weddings. Right? So Jasmina and Michael, again, last week you said that you thought they were trauma bonded.
Yes.
Now, as I was watching it this week, I'm going to say that's kind of true.
It is true.
Dr. Pepper says that they were matched based on the optimism of life, families, and their future. Because, see, in last video, I had mentioned that I think they were not necessarily just trauma bonded or whatever, but how they saw themselves in the future, how they wanted long term. So Dr. Pepper kind of co-signed that for me. I mean, I saw. Do I need to be on the show?
No.
Well, anyway, so before the wedding, they both have big families, and Michael's excited. He's ready to go. What they say, RTG, he's ready to go. Michael's family's ready for him to, get this process going because they really want their baby brother to be married, to live out what he's been wanting. But again, even out of his own mouth, last week in matchmaking specials, he's like, he's quick to leave relationships if he sees anything that's not right. And I'm like, well, everyone has flaws. Nobody's perfect.
Well, let me speak on that. I think he knows no one's perfect, but I can see where he's coming from. Like, you don't want to have a red flag be missed. Because if you let a red flag go, sometimes people really beat themselves up about it. So if it's something that he really genuinely feels is a problem, it's okay to leave. But
every relationship had a red flag.
Hey, that's why he's on Married at First Sight.
Maybe
clearly
he's the red flag.
This was his destiny to be on here. So it worked out. And I'm sure the women that he was with are much happier now.
Maybe. But anyways, Jasmina, at first she was okay with it, but then she started to break down. Like, she was overly nervous. She was I can't do this. And honestly, I don't understand why, even though we did see in the previous season, like with Karen, we won't get into that either, where you don't necessarily see the brides and the grooms overly nervous to the point where I can't do this. But that's where she was at. I mean, breaking down. And I could understand that because, you sign up for this, but at the same time, it's whew, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I don't know this person. But then by the time she's breaking down and her stepmom's got to give her encouragement, things like that, you can do this, you signed up for it, and, this would be great. Like you said, this is probably your destiny. You never know.
Well, it is their destiny. That's why they're on here.
Week to week. Anyways, Michael is walking down the aisle, and they're all waiting, and then he's tapping his watch time.
Was this a red flag for him? He's like, she already late.
That's what I'm saying now. That's his I can't do this, but since I'm on Married at First Sight, about to have a wife, I'm going to go ahead and push through. Right? So she finally makes it down the aisle, and Michael's face was in awe. Genuine awe. Wow, she's beautiful. So I appreciated that because, you're unsure because, he said he wanted short and curvy. He got tall and slender, and she is really pretty to me. She's attractive to me, and I'm not sure what she thought going in now. I think she was still just kind of trying to get through the process. But her vows were cute, though. She said different little things like, the things that you...
She want to go to Korea.
Mm-hmm.
BTS.
Well, that was after the fact. That wasn't the part of the vows. But her vows was like, don't expect me not to eat off your plate. Don't expect me not.
Something you would do.
Little quirky thing. I don't eat off people's plate. That's what I don't do. But anyways, yeah. But no, that was after the fact that they got married. They actually jumped the broom. I thought that was cute. They did something traditional, African traditional. Michael's family.
African American tradition.
Okay, African American.
For those who want to do it.
Who want to do it. But back to what you were saying, when they got to know each other before they took their wedding photos, that's when she was like, so what do you like? And what do you like? And she was like, yeah, I like Korean soap operas. I'm in the bed at 9, but I don't go to sleep till 2 o'clock. I like BTS. She's like, do you like Marvel? He's like, no. You don't like Marvel? I was like, wait a minute now.
I never met a guy who never liked Marvel before.
Well, Michael said he was a grandpa. He goes to bed at 9. I don't see nothing wrong going to bed at 9.
See, I actually am getting to like Jasmina. Mm-hmm. I like them, and I think I am also starting to like them as a couple. I know, Mom, you said you're going week to week.
Week to week. Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is your week that you're on with Jasmina and Michael, because some of the reservations that I had before, basically like their looks and stuff, it seems like they moved past it for now, for this week at least.
I guess, but we'll just stick with them because we'll just go with just in order what. Not in order what happened, but just by a couple this week since it's just the weddings. But anyways, so next up after that, they did pictures. And I thought their pictures was nice. Now, their families came together and took really nice pictures. I think those were the nicest pictures I've seen on the entire season from 1 to now. Mm-hmm. Married at First Sight. And I was like, okay, maybe their families can get together week to week. We'll see. But Michael is feeling Jasmina. He calls her, his Black Barbie. I was like, okay. And Jasmina, in her confession, she's like, I feel a little bit of a spark, even though I'm a wife now. I said, okay, wife. I can't get it like that. Wife.
But do you think that maybe, I'm just throwing this out there, that this could be a potential red flag for Michael, because he is setting himself up like, oh, she's a Barbie doll. She's perfect. So when she doesn't do something that fits into the mold that he already created for himself in his mind based off of how she looks, do you think that's going to be a problem?
Listen, she was already not on time come down the aisle. So, moving on. So then we get a quick glance of, hold on, y'all, look at my notes. I don't want to get their names wrong. Lindsey and
Shark Daddy.
Okay.
Mark the Shark. Shark Daddy.
That's right.
I can't forget that. Mark the Shark.
By next week, it'll stay. Okay, so they had pictures and stuff like that, and their pictures were, I think all wedding pictures are nice. Even though you have an awkward face because you're nervous.
They are nice. It's the setup's nice. The outfits are nice, depending on, we'll just say Married at First Sight.
Yeah. Nice. I mean, it didn't seem as awkward. He's looking like, and she's kind of like, it's just...
Well, she was lit, so her photos ain't going to come out the best when you're lit.
I think not only was she lit, but I don't think she was lit as I think you or some other viewers may think so. Because I think that's just Lindsey.
No, I think she was... Well, she said she had 2 bottles of champagne. Now, if she drunk them herself or with her girls, that's a different story. But I think it was a mixture of she was lit, mixture of who she seems to be, mixture of... just a whole bunch of other stuff within it.
All I have to say is all the other stuff in it from the matchmaking special from when we first met Lindsey. She's been in it. And my impression of Lindsey aren't it, like I said last week, and it is still week to week. But you know what? When they got to the reception and stuff like that, I mean, Lindsey was being Lindsey. She talks too much. That's the only thing I get from her right now. She talks too much, and she's loud. Well, she's loud to me. And she's clearly loud to Mark, the shark.
But do you think she's loud, or do you think she's just like blunt? She just wants people to know what's on her mind.
That's a good one. I think it's a combination of many things with Lindsey. Loud, blunt, dramatic, over-dramatic, Lindsey.
You just don't like her.
I don't necessarily care for her personality, and I'm just going to make it clear like I did last week, at least I thought. But anyway, they take their pictures. All right. They were nice pictures for the most part. Then they get to reception. She is still talking. She is still talking to me sideways. I just call it sideways. About everything she could think about to talk about.
Well, someone gotta talk.
Well, he's talking, but clearly she's not receiving what he's saying because it's only about what she is on her mind right now. And you know, she's even talking about, even in her confessionals, and then finally to him, during their first dance, about them cats. She's like, well, you know, gosh, we got 5 cats. During the first dance, we got 5 cats. You know, that's a lot of boop in the house. You know? Well, we won't say the word. We'll just say, you know, old school name like in those old cartoons. There's a lot of pussycats in the house. I'm like, that's all you got to talk about? You just
added an extra word to that.
Pussycats? Well, that's what it's called in old school cartoons. I don't want to say the word because I don't want to be vulgar. Get the channel struck. But the thing is, you're talking about that during your first dance. That seems like that's all you've been talking about. Them cats, cats, cats. And the thing what she said was, you know, well, at least 2 of his cats, which is only 2, are close to death.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I know some people are feeling Lindsey.
They are or they aren't?
They are. A-R-E.
Thank you.
Feeling Lindsey. But it's just some of the things that she's been saying and then like the after show last week.
It's inappropriate to me.
I'm really, really, really interested how the dynamic within the girl group is going to be as the show goes along because, you know, it's always been girls united on this show.
Right.
I'm not too sure because homegirl do talk too much.
And I believe it comes across inappropriate. I don't think I've heard her say anything yet from the matchmaking special bachelorette party till now that she said that was appropriate, honestly. So now let's move on to Katina and Olajuwon Katina and Olajuwon / Issac / Tootie.
Hold on, pause.
Mm-hmm.
Are we still gonna call this man Issac? He's getting married.
Hey, okay, we'll just call you Olajuwon because that is your name. We didn't know you when you was Issac, except for at the bachelor party last week when you was Issac.
So we knew him when he was Issac. So we're gonna call him Issac.
In a sense. You know what? Again, we won't go into all the specifics of the families and all the other stuff, but before they get married. But I will say this one tidbit about that. Before he got married, you know, with his friends and family, he was in there talking. He was gung-ho and all those other stuff. And then he broke down in tears. I mean, he was boo-hoo crying. Because he couldn't believe, like, this was actually happening. He was actually getting married. And he was leaving Issac behind. Now, I was thinking at the same time, I was like, are you crying? And I'm trying to be sympathetic to his tears. I was trying.
Keep trying.
Week to week. Are you really crying because you're leaving Issac behind and you know you can't necessarily right now do what you was doing before the bachelor party? You know, being the life of the party? Or what?
Well, all I'm going to say on this is if someone is really willing and ready to change, they will change. So only time will tell if he's still going to be Olajuwon or Issac. But in my belief, and I could be wrong, I think he's going to be Olajuwon for now. But Isaac's going to pop back up because you just can't do that at the bachelor party a day ago and then try to drop him to the side the next day and expect that just to be that because you're getting married. You're not going to change like that.
You know what?
Because you would have already changed before you got on the show. But you showed yourself on the bachelor party.
Well, a bunch of people showed themselves before the show.
But I can't roll with his tears, him crying about a persona that he made up.
Yeah,
you did that.
You know what? There's, to me, a few individuals, I won't say couples because we don't know them as couples yet, a few individuals on this season who have shown me so far that they're not ready and they have shown me red flags early. Like, this is the first season that I will go and say that I've seen red flags early from at least 5 individuals on this show.
That's half the show.
I know. Well, let me say about Katina real quick. I will say a little bit. She's ready. She's ready for the process. She didn't necessarily break down, but as they get married and then afterwards, that's where the other red flags come. So let me get into weddings first. So they go down. He's waiting for her down the aisle. She comes, and he looks like he's blown away too. He's like, wow. Like, ooh, she's beautiful, right? But it's different. His wow and Michael's wow to Jasmina is a different wow. And I think it's based on his persona.
Do you think it was a, wow, I don't know this girl. She don't know me. She not going to know who I used to be.
Well, kind of, because he said, I hope I didn't kick it or sleep with someone that she knows.
I mean, I'm sure she'll find somebody.
But that's not, you shouldn't even be thinking that while you're getting married. That's the last thing that needs to be in your confessional. But that's just me. But she comes down the aisle. He's like, oh, wow, she's beautiful. And to me, again, you know, I have this stigma with him, and maybe it'll go away. I hope it does. I hope he proves me wrong. But it's like, is that because of his persona? Is that something that you would say to a woman anyways that you're interested or find attractive to? You know, that's just what that gave me. But she came down the aisle, and his family and friends wanted Katina to know that you're marrying Olajuwon, a.k.a. the family calls him Tootie. I'm like, now where you get Tootie out of Olajuwon?
Family story, probably find out a little bit later.
That's true, because you got a little nickname too. But I mean, I wouldn't be saying we call you.
At least they don't call him Isaac too. Could you imagine?
Child, if they called him Isaac,
could you imagine?
If they called him Isaac, I think I'd just been like, this part of him, like, look, his family calls him Isaac. He was down the aisle. Next. You know, I'm glad they don't call him Isaac. They said he is full of energy. He loves a home-cooked meal, and they hope she can cook. And she was like, and her family and friends was laughing too, like, uh-oh. So I suggest they get them not a paid endorsement, HelloFresh box.
Okay.
Or
not even a HelloFresh box.
Blue Apron, not endorsed.
No one's trying to cut up their own stuff. Go get a home chef so we can just put it together and it's done.
See, that's something that you try to do. You know, listen. Moving on.
Hey.
Anyways, Katina's family says that she's a social butterfly, and she gives her heart to everything that she does. You know, she wears her heart on her sleeve. She's very giving. She'll give her shirt off her back to you. Now, when they said she's a social butterfly, his smile just lit up. He has a nice smile anyways. Just lit up the room. I was like, okay. See, now you feel like, in my opinion only, you may have a new
turn-up partner. But she's not trying to do that.
She's not trying to do that anymore. She's trying to get settled down.
But you know what? At least she said that, and she's making attempts to try to change her ways.
Right.
Instead of Sir Isaac in the club. But, you know, moving on. We're going to let that be the past for now.
But yeah, we'll give him a little, I don't know, fill in the blank. We'll give him a little.
We'll give him a pass for
That's
right now.
it, a little pass. I was trying to be nice about it. Anyways, so after the wedding, they go, as everyone does, they go get to know each other. And, you know, she says that there's a little spark going on. He thinks there's one too, because he's like, can I get another kiss? And I'm like, here we go. But she gave him a kiss. I was like, okay. But here's the thing, though. When we saw them talking, all you saw was clips, and maybe they were edited together. There were clips of him just going on and on and on about the things he likes to do, what he didn't do, what he's doing now, what he's doing here, what he's doing there, all that. And she was just like, I need me another shot. She finished her champagne and said she needed a shot. And I was like, so you're telling her, even though they could have been edited altogether, all the things that you did before in the past and now this and that without seem like taking a breath? He just comes across like he would come across if he was in the party scene. That's just the vibes he's giving me, and I'm trying to give him a pass because it's still news week to week. But with his chit chat, that goes back to him crying in the room like he's draining, letting Isaac go, releasing all that. But then that red flag came back up for me about the things that he was into. He was talking about, he was self-centered to me during that time. He didn't ask her what she did, what she liked to do, nothing. It was Olajuwon, Olajuwon, Olajuwon.
I think Katina's going to hold her own. It's just the first time they're meeting each other, so she's just letting him get everything out. But I think as time goes on, and especially if you're still doing this in the honeymoon, I don't think Katina's going to play that. I think she's going to be like, hold on, and they're going to have a whole conversation, and of course he's probably not going to like it, and go from there. All right, well, who's the next couple you want to talk about?
All right, so we see half of the... No, before I get to that, we see one quick scene again. I don't understand why they just don't put the wedding dress shopping and the tux shopping in the same episode. We see Alyssa, I think it's Alyssa, I'll know next week, and Chris. Alyssa said she took her friends to the bridal store, but she had said she's already purchased 10.
Not rented, not tried on, not looked at.
No, looked at.
But purchased.
And
That's
looked at
different.
and purchased.
That's different.
10 different wedding dresses. Now I'm thinking now, were these wedding dresses purchased last year when you were supposed to get married to the person you're supposed to get married to? Or for this process? Because you just find out about this process, maybe 3 weeks or so in advance? Not very long. Mm-hmm. And you already purchased 10. How do you even look at all those dresses and be like, I like this, and this? But anyway, she's still back to look. I'm like, for what?
Pick one of those free. You might as well get a free dress.
Like
Add
I
that
said,
to the collection.
like I said, for what?
Why not?
Okay. Well, I'm not buying you 10 weddings. You better pick up what you like the first time. She's trying to convince us she's a down-home country girl and that she rescues animals. That's nice, she rescues animals, stuff like that. But she's trying to convince us that she's just so laid back and so this and that. No, ma'am.
Well, we know that wasn't true from the bachelorette party.
I know it wasn't true, and I know it wasn't true based on things that she said. She said she's a country girl, plus she likes to spend money. But like I said, I believe that she wants some. She's not on the right show. She's not on the right show either. Because you know what? She said, just back to her wedding dresses, she doesn't want to look like any old thing, but she doesn't want to come across like, she just picked out something. You don't even give me that vibe. You don't give me that vibe at all. She gives me the vibe of an upscale country girl. She's an equestria girl. She rides horses. She does lots of things that maybe the normal person doesn't necessarily do, like a particular lifestyle. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, which is nothing wrong with that. But when you see Chris, and he's in the tuck shop, he's talking to his friends, and he's like, you know what? One thing that said to me, he said, he hopes his wife likes him. Chris, to me, has a self-validation problem as well, in my opinion, for right now, week to week. Because it's like, if I hope she likes me, and if she doesn't like me, then I know there's things about me that I need to change. It's not her. It's going to be me. No, maybe she just don't like you. Maybe she just don't care for you. Just in general, even dating, that you don't necessarily have to change something about you, but he's already like, no, I need to do this, that. Because I think he feels like in this process, the experts met him up with his match of all matches, and if the wife don't like him, then it's clearly something wrong with him from head to toe. And I think he doesn't have the right attitude when it comes to that, because he's basing how he feels based on someone else's opinion, and that's why you're single.
Well, maybe he is wanting to take that time as a self-reflection to work on himself. At least he's not thinking that he's just the greatest thing that ever walked this earth and she need to be happy about that. At least he's not thinking that. So we have to give a little bit of credit and not just think off top that he just has low self-esteem about himself. Let's give it a couple weeks and see how it goes. I think he's just trying to self-reflect on himself. Or maybe I just like Chris. And that's why I'm taking that for him. Who knows? But I'll go with my first night. That's what I honestly think. I do. You can look like that all you want.
Moving on to the half a wedding we saw, Noi and Steve. Her mom and dad have been in a long-term relationship, long-term marriage. They've been married, I think she said 38 years, something like that. More than 30 years for sure. And she has always wanted to have a relationship like that. And I understand that. I get where she's coming from with that. But at the same time, she's like, I've chased the wrong man and all this other stuff. See, that's the one that moved to Mexico and moved to England trying to find.
No, she don't need to be on the show.
Like you said,
there's no self-reflective.
Kind of like a 90-day reference for her. Mm-mm. But again, like to me, now I think Noi and Chris, now that's a match. Hey, if they could trauma bond, maybe other people.
They could, but we don't need that many. We don't need that many.
Well, her mom gave the advice. Her mom's name is almost the same as hers. I can't pronounce it. It's like Noyanda or something like that. Something along those lines. Told her that, no one's perfect. No marriage is perfect. You have to work on it. Perfect. Because that's true. Nothing and no one is perfect. You have to give grace. You have to give consideration to the other person and their feelings and what they're going through. And especially during this process, regardless, but especially during this process, because you don't know that person, you're getting to know each other at the same time. So it's a different thing now. But, she wishes her daughter the best, and she stands behind her daughter. And then one of Steve's brothers, I don't remember his name, but it's the one with the blonde hair.
Mm-hmm.
He's here for everything. I think he's the life of the party. He may have signed his brother up to the show because his brother is a free spirit. Noi is a free spirit too, but this is the thing that I need. I'm gonna need Steve. And I said it was okay to live off your nest egg because you lost your job during the pandemic, stuff like that, and drive around town or travel. But you needs to get a job because the brother asked her. Someone said, "So what you gonna tell her what you do for work?"
Huh?
Who? You know, I used to be XYZ. I think he was in IT. Yeah, he was in IT or whatever. But you could be a free spirit, stuff like that. But how you gonna live though after the fact? But I guess you could kind of. I hope he's applying somewhere. Let me turn my glass off. I hope he's applying for a job somewhere because
maybe he's a freelancer.
No, he's a free spirit.
No.
So,
but he's just doing IT jobs from here
no,
and
he's traveling. That's a free spirit. You just freelance, you be freelancing from your car. Then we see clips of Alicia and what's his name again? Chris. Listen, now every season that we reviewed and every season we haven't reviewed, even though we watch, I've always said, there's always been the theory, because I've noticed the pattern. Something always goes wrong with one couple on the honeymoon. The clip of the wedding.
And it's usually the last couple to get married.
The clip of the wedding and the reception with Alyssa and Chris, they don't even get past the reception. Well, she don't get past the reception. You saw that clip?
I saw that clip. Explain that clip.
The clip was, he asked her friends, "Well, do you think I'm her type?" And they said at the same time, like, kind of like, "Not really. You're out of her comfort zone." I'm like, dang, they said at the same time, the same exact words.
And was it the grandma too?
No, it was her mother.
Oh.
There was like, do you think she likes me? And she's like, she gave that's kind of like a, so, I mean, in her clip, she's like, he looks like a real estate agent. He is. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. He's a real estate agent. And apparently that must be boring for her because she's throwing whatever cuss bombs during her confessional. Well, I guess we'll see next week. It's just like, she's like, ew. Like, oh my gosh, like, see, this is not going to work. I'm like, again, when she's on for this process,
you don't know who you're going to get.
You don't know what they look like, who you're going to get. You could give a description of people that you like, but okay.
I know, it's very unfortunate, but you know what? Maybe, because we're going week to week. Well, you're going week to week.
I'm going week to week.
She will come around next week or in the honeymoon, maybe. Just keeping optimism and hope alive for Married at First Sight because their track record has not been too good. So maybe this season will produce a little bit of something. But so far, the couples seemed okay for now. And that's just how I'm going to leave it.
We'll leave it there because I don't know what else to say.
All right, so that was this week's episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Please let us know what you guys thought about this week's episode in the comments down below because I know you guys have comments. Tell us about the after show because we have not seen an after show yet. No. I think Shark Daddy's on there, so I might have to watch it.
It looks like it's Shark Daddy, Jasmina, and Katina again.
Yeah, so let us know what happened in the after show as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. Please hit that like button. And we hope you enjoy your weekend.
Thank you all again for watching. And as always, live simply, be grateful.